Welcome, everybody. And today we are going to blow your minds. We have a special guest, Shervin Molayem, and from the LA. Now, Shervin is not just an incredible clinically trained periodontist, but he is an entrepreneur, AI, and is going to change the dental world in the next few years. And we will explain how that is going to take place in this coming presentation. Let's get into it. Welcome, Shervin.
All right. Thank you, Craig, for having me. I'm excited.
Well, we should all be excited with what we're going to discuss today. You're in LA yourself, and I am very much looking forward to coming over to see you in the next few weeks. It will be terrific. So yes, I'm coming over there and would love to catch up. But let's tell people what you do. You've got an amazing enterprise happening right now. Now, you've been an entrepreneur for quite a while in the dental space, but what you've got happening with Trust AI and Isaac, please enlighten us a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah. So basically, to take a step back, as a periodontist, I've been working for the past 15 years. And 6 years ago, I got into dental technology, research, mouth-body connection, and solving problems, right? The first problem that I saw was during COVID. I published a paper during that time that really made people, during that time when people were trying to avoid going to the dentist, to go to the dentist. And one of the things that came out of that article was that people that had gum disease, we basically went out of, as a hypothesis and explained why, that when they contract COVID, they can, if they have gum disease, it can be a more severe COVID. And it turned out to be true. And people that had some sort of gum disease, like bleeding gums, had a 71% higher chance of dying. So I've always been interested in what is the way that I could impact the world the most. Just one person around the world. How could I do that? Because I love doing it in the office, but that's just one patient at a time. How could I cause a bigger ripple in the world? We want to maximize our impact, basically. And so when AI came about, I saw, first of all, some problems that were in our industry. Number one, I see that our patients don't trust us. Patients go to an office, they go to another office, they take their x-rays, they don't know if what you're saying to them is true. They badmouth the dentist that they went to. They said, I needed this, they touched this tooth, now it keeps hurting. So we have a problem with trust. And dentistry is also very subjective. So a lot of the values during our treatment planning and our consultation are, I think it's approximately, you have a gum pocket of 3, or it could be a 4, depending on the angle. The mobility of a tooth could be +1, +2, +3. What does that mean? The difference between 2 and 3 is an extraction. So dentistry is way back in the ancient ages. Maybe that's why our patients don't trust us, is because we're not standardized. So if they have one set of x-rays and they take it to 5 different dentists, they're getting 5 different answers.
Or 7.
Or 7.
Yes.
So we got a big problem in this industry, but we have a new technology that can solve this. And that technology, what it's able to do is able to take not just one dentist's opinion, but thousands of dentists and thousands of specialists, thousands of research papers, and thousands of data points, create a consensus, and give a better tool as a co-pilot. Now, the key word is co-pilot. This isn't a pilot. You cannot trust it 100%. In fact, you shouldn't trust anything 100% in this world.
I was told that exact same thing using exactly the same terminology by a Dr. Mario Kern in Switzerland. He used that exact same terminology of using co-pilot.
Yes.
So I'm glad that's getting around the industry, around the world.
Yeah, definitely not a pilot. And that's why a dentist could never get replaced. There's a problem with hallucinations with AI, meaning they make things up. They give maybe some inaccurate information. ChatGPT, in their latest model, has a 3.5% hallucination rate. That means almost 3 out of 100 patients, if you rely on it, are going to possibly have a bad outcome. You can't have that in medicine, in healthcare, and in dentistry. So at the same time, no AI can be 0% hallucination rate. But the goal should be to get as close to 0 as possible. Close as 0. So that could be with, human in the loop. So you have humans looking and really looking up everything. We have thumbs up, thumbs down by users to give feedback on when they see something that's shouldn't be there. We should be able to flag it and change it so that the system keeps learning. So those are some of the things that we want to, implement. And just yesterday, ChatGPT made an announcement that do not rely on them for medical advice. Okay, so now they have a disclaimer whenever if you have a medical question, it says, please don't rely on us, go see a doctor, but da 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 da. So that means, and they're a general model. They know a lot. They know a lot about. They know a little about a lot, but they don't.
Yep.
They're not what we call a vertical AI. They don't go into one specific area and go really deep into it. So, and that's called a specialized model. So Trust AI in dentistry is a specialized model. We have what's equivalent to 100 million textbook pages of information. We're the first to have both a medical and a dental model, meaning we're able to answer any medical question. In fact, we're about to release this news. By the time maybe this podcast gets released, we'll already have this out, that we're the second company in the world for the for medical board exams in the US to get a 100%.
That's good in that it's able to answer questions. But from a diagnosis perspective, being able to get in there and do an analysis rather than just answer a question, that is a different process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you have to first start though on questions, right? And these questions, they're scenarios, they're difficult paragraphs that they have to read and answer questions, and they're tricky. So that's the first step. You want to benchmark, but you're right. It's not the end all, and you can't rely still on it 100%. Which brings me to what our main, and our AI is called Isaac. What Isaac is able to do, he's a multimodal, which means he takes different modes of data, whether it be a CT scan, X-ray, panoramic, STLs, 3D scan, perio charting, text like medical dental history, put it all into one picture, analyze it, and then be able to diagnose and treatment plan. Now, to your point, you made a good point. Now, how accurate is that going to be? Well, we created something called a trust score. Don't rely on us 100%. Like I said, don't rely on anyone, but we're going to give you, a dentist, a score of how confident our AI is in that plan. So you could use it if you see it's high enough, like in the 90s, and if you see it's in the 70s, you could not lean on it as much. But with time, that percentage should increase as more and more users are using it.
How does it work with, I'm a white guy with red hair and blue eyes, my income, where I live, the postcode that I live in or the zip code that I live in, all of that is important information from a dental perspective because that shows the history and the likelihood. Is that information coming into the environment?
Every information is coming into the environment. How about that? Okay.
Well, that's a pretty big statement, isn't it?
Okay, and let me explain. So in order for us to have this, we also have a brain, meaning it's the whole central nervous system of a dental office. So it's connected. We created this is just the AI I'm talking about. His name is Isaac. That's just a part of the whole patient management system. So we created.
I knew you weren't talking about the general public when you were talking about we've got a brain.
Yeah. So it's a patient management system essentially, right? So it controls the whole office from insurance to scheduling to AI receptionist, the billing, diagnosis and treatment plan, prescriptions. So we have it all in one place. So from the phone call, we can detect the tone of the patient's voice. From the scheduling, we know how many times they've been late and missed their appointment or canceled. We have all of that. So next time we schedule them, we know, well, this person takes up a long time in the waiting room. This person spends a long time in they close their mouth a lot. They need breaks. Or for example, the dentist, they're a slower dentist than, they're only 2-3 years out. We need to give them more time. So this is smart scheduling. And so that, when I'm talking about that, it knows everything, right? Because it's picking up.
Obviously, because you just described me, didn't you? So it knows everything.
And with that, we have it's connected to the insurance. The insurance in America, they actually have different fees for different areas.
Hmm.
So depending on the demographic, the state, if it's urban, suburban, there are different like a fee schedule. So it understands that, knows where location, knows the ethnicity, it knows, in fact, we're training it on genetic data, blood tests, salivary tests. So we want to really get into precision dentistry so we can treat the patient, exact patient, not just the general public.
If you're gathering that data, then that's leading directly into medical as well, isn't it?
Body is all one. The blood flowing through the gums is the same blood that goes to the foot in 1 minute. It's all one continuous system. So when you say medical and dental, it actually is.
You're going to be able to take this same brain and move it, copy that brain, clone the brain, and make it into a medical product as well?
Perhaps, but we're starting with dentistry. There's a lot to be done in dentistry. We have both the data and it's a smart in both medical and dental versus the medical companies only have medical. They don't have dental. So we do feel we're the best healthcare model because we have both.
Okay, that is quite amazing. You said it does the receptionist. It goes right the way through from the front office out to the clinical side.
Yes.
Now, from a multi-practice perspective, how is it going to handle that?
It's
If
going to
a
be
patient
connected.
moves from one practice to
Yeah.
another practice
It'll
down
be
the road.
connected. It'll be connected. So you can access the information of that patient from anywhere, from any office they go to, the x-rays, all of their data. We will have, like, for example, you want to buy and sell offices, mergers and acquisitions, all these numbers are, these KPIs are on the dashboard, right? So what we have is a situation where we have a bar where you can type in and ask it anything. So you could say, act as an expert forensic accountant in dentistry, look through my DSO and see what what am I missing? How could I improve my efficiency year over year, compare it to last year? How am I doing? Show me a graph of that. And it might say, you know what, you're using this particular instrument you're spending too much time with this kind of patient. Imagine when you have all the data and you know everything about the office all in one, and you're asking it in natural language, just like ChatGPT. You could ask it anything. You upload a PDF, you put a photo, and you ask it any question.
That's my job. You're going to put me out of business because that's what I do. I go into these organizations and I do those analysis already.
Yeah.
Now, what you're saying is that if they get Isaac and they put it into their office, they're going to raise their business value, their EBITDA, they're going to raise their sale value. So it's not just an expense here. This is a tool, and I'm sorry if it's a little bit insulting to call it a tool, but it's a tool that is going to not only build your business, allow you to analyze your numbers and grow your business and increase the value of your business.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is. So it's coming, whether we bring it or not. Just to give you an analogy, there's a gel that we could put in the gums, and a hygienist could do it, and it could help grow gums, and it's coming out soon. And as a periodontist, I'm the only one that could deal with bone loss and grow bone. And I said to myself, when I saw that, I said, this is gonna put me cut into my profits for sure, because a hygienist is non-surgical. It's going to be cheaper, may not be as effective, but it's like a baby step to see before they need surgery. Whether I come or not, this is happening. So I follow the truth. That's one of my values and missions. And I've been involved in companies that have these mints that can get rid of the bad bacteria in the mouth that cause cavities and gum disease. But you have to keep in mind, not everyone's going to use this mint. Not everyone's going to sit there and utilize these tools.
People don't use seatbelts in cars.
Yeah. So there's people that don't want to rely and type in and do their own. They want a person. Look, one of the things that I heard recently that I really loved is, in this new world of AI, the things that are going to win, the businesses and the people that are going to win, are the things that are in real life, meaning a phone call from a person, someone coming to their office and they're chit-chatting, right? that's not going to go away. People are always going to want that relationship, that communication. And if the person that's not, you have to be using also the tools and explaining to them how to use it and showing them how to maximize it, right? So there's going to be a new science called prompt engineering that you need to know what to type in. You need to know how to maximize this because not too many people know.
Over in Dubai, they are currently looking to employ, and you better get your pen out to write this number down, 1 million prompt engineers. They just
Great.
want 1 million prompt engineers in Dubai, and that's what they're trying to recruit right now.
Amazing.
So that is happening, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not just the prompting that's important. It's you were talking about the hallucinations before, 3.5%. It's that training as well that is so critical. And it's the training by the experts. Now, years ago, about 12 years ago now, I went to my son's high school and private high school, and spoke with the principal there. And I said, look, I'm not going to make it a short story. We've got to get rid of all the teachers. And I want 6 teachers in every subject. And that way the kids can sit at their desk, they can learn from the best teachers in the world. I don't care if they're in Australia or wherever, but they can learn from the best teachers in the world.
Yeah.
Why 6? Because kids don't relate to everybody. They've got to find one that they can relate. And I was talking humans back then. They go on holidays, they get sick.
Mhm.
Now, what you're talking about here is putting in an AI brain. I'm taking your dentist one and I'm now putting it into schools. You can then take that into a particular subject in school and you can get all the knowledge and then get it trained by those 6 specialists around the world that are brilliant. And you've now got an education system as well with what you're doing.
Yeah. So, going back to what you were saying, you're absolutely right. And I want to go back to, it's a sensitive subject, like that this AI is going to replace jobs, right? It's good to, when there's a fear, it's good to talk about it and delve into it, right?
It is.
It's heavy, right? Because this is people's survival. It's people's oxygen, right? Their livelihood.
And their families.
And their families, right? So so how I like to look at it is this train is coming and you have to position yourself to not get run over, but also to ride that train, right? Let's say, for example, we talked about prompt engineering, but what if all of a sudden you learn exactly how you're the person that knows how to maximize that person's data in their office for what you're doing, and you're the speaker and you're the go-to person and you're the double check of the AI and you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden,
I know exactly what you mean.
now all of a sudden you've elevated into the most important position. So things like that, it's getting a little bit, we talked about this before our talk, is thinking out of the box. And really, one of my mottos is nothing bad ever happens. It's just how you position yourself.
I think you make a brilliant point there. Now, what I do is I do roll-ups of dental practices. And I say to people, look, I come in to make everybody's dreams come true. And I don't just mean the founder's dreams come true. I mean everybody's dreams come true. Because of what you're saying there. The person that is in one office, they might have been there 5, 7 years. But then if you can give them a community of offices, 5, 7 offices, they might want to change jobs. And their job might be exactly what you just spoke of there. That might be how they see the future for them. They might want to be a group practice manager. They might want to be... Just because there's change doesn't mean that you're gone. It means there's other opportunities there to take advantage of.
For example,
other futures.
Here's an example for the roll-up for what you just mentioned. Imagine you take 5 offices that are unrelated, actually. They're just different. But someone wants to buy 5 offices, and imagine you give them one shared language, which is the AI, and you change their patient management system to this AI, and you connect them all, and the data gets cleaned up so now they all look like the same office, right? Because they're all together, and you could ask it any question and do the whole thing. Now that's another role. Like that could be the new thing where rolling up offices means putting him onto this system.
Sorry, it
And
was
then
the only thing that I saw through my
yeah,
eyes.
yeah, yeah. And all of a sudden, the value. Do you want an office that has technology from in America? The legacy patient management systems were from the 80s, the late 80s. Let's call it 90. That's 30, 40 years ago. So, or is the value of the sum of these 5 offices going to be more if it has the latest, most advanced technology?
I don't think you need me anymore, Shervin. I think you've got my role covered, okay? So I'll just let you go. I'll check out now, okay? That that is perfect. I could not have expressed that any better. That is just perfect. And I think that people have to come along on this journey. And to give you a bit more of an idea as to what I do, Shervin, is
Yeah,
I don't buy these dental practices. I have a cooperative and I ask these practices to come on the journey with me. So what you're talking about there is just perfect. It really
thank you.
is. Now, I want to get something else in there
Mhm.
that I wanted to say a little bit further back in this conversation.
Yeah,
My favourite saying over the last 20, 30 years has been, without reliable data, you're merely another person with an opinion. And I personally feel that AI was invented for medicine. I think
yeah,
that because when I go to the doctor, they talk about getting a second opinion. And you
yeah,
spoke of this before about a patient going from one clinic to another clinic
yeah,
and getting multiple opinions.
yeah,
I want to be able to go to the doctor and know that, or the dentist, and know that I'm getting the best available, that they are the best in the world. Now, everybody can't do that today, but using this system, this is the first step of getting the best practice out there, the best advice. Thousands of doctors, experts in the
yeah,
field, all consulting for you instantaneously,
yeah,
right there and then.
yeah.
Now,
It-
what I envisage with this, and I don't know how far you've gone yet, is I want a little earpiece in there. The glasses, I want the glasses to be doing, and every dentist wears them. I want the glasses to be seeing what I'm seeing, or what the dentist is seeing inside there. I then want the feedback coming through from either the glasses or the earpiece telling me what I should be looking at and what I'm seeing in there. That is where I see this. What you're doing is you're doing the first step from what I can see. I hope I'm not underestimating what you've got happening here,
yeah.
but that's the next step that I want to
Yes, you're
see.
right. No, we're definitely not there yet. We like to think of ourselves, we're trying to change what's called decision making, dental decision
Mm.
making, decision trees, when you get stuck, what you're seeing, right? And yeah, one of the things that we, you know, talk about is kind of what you're talking about, but yeah, not in the form of glasses. That's a lot of these things are, once you get into hardware, it's a little bit more tricky, but like they could take a picture with their phone and upload and that type of thing, like during mid treatment, for example, and be able to get it, am I doing this right? Am I on the right track? What should I do now, next? Things like that,
Yep.
that will come eventually.
Well, that's good for 2025, but I'm thinking ahead to 2026. So glasses, earpiece,
Maybe.
commentary as we go through. And you're not just talking about the dentist here. You're also talking about the hygienist.
Mm.
You're talking about the receptionist, that Fred's just walked in the door. Fred's 10 minutes early. So all of that information is now going to be going through to these glasses and through around the office as required.
Yeah.
It is amazing where we're going to be in under 5 years.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we're accelerating fast. Every year is like a whole new, it's equivalent to the dot com, like maybe 4 years in dot com is like 1 year in AI. Very fast.
It is absolutely. Shervin, this has been an amazing conversation. I want to talk about the paste that grows gums as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a part of your enterprise as well?
Yeah, no, but I'm the chief medical officer for the company that's going to be bringing that out. They're doing human testing soon, and probably will be available in like 2027. But yeah, I mean, you after the scaling and root planing is done, the hygienist squirts down into the pocket and underneath inside a gel that has nano ceramic particles. They light cure it so it hardens and stays. The technology of it is that there's a charge because it has these ceramic particles, and with the chewing and vibrations and speaking, it activates the charge, similar to a spark on a barbecue. That spark is a pressure. Bone lays that cells that create bone, they lay down bone when there's pressure. Also, that spark is killing bacteria. It's bactericidal. So now during this month that gel is there, it's clean, and there's stem cells, mesenchymal stem cells that are laying down bone. So we're looking and we're seeing there's all sorts of bone growth, bone hardening all around teeth in areas that we couldn't even do with surgery, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's so much evidence to say that healthy teeth leads to better education, which leads to better life outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we didn't record this earlier, but I would like to take you back, and if you can go through what you said earlier about how you want to change the world and how you're doing it. This is going to be the way that you're going to be doing it. But I think you're changing the world in a number of ways. You expressed it so much better.
Yeah, really, we want to just maximize our impact on this earth, utilize what we know, and then amplify it through AI, amplify it through media, right? There's multiple ways to, amplify through hiring people, right? Those are the ways you amplify. But first you need the idea, right? The big picture of right, there has to be a connection, right? With when I came up with the brain for the dental office, the Isaac, that concept, and our team, we thought it would be revolutionary. Now we're seeing it. We're doing a beta test starting in a month from now. So we've created it. Almost everything is done. Now we're going to start testing it, and then we're launching it in February at one of the meetings in the Chicago midwinter meeting. That will be when people actually see. And the word that we use to describe this workflow, we use the word, it's an orchestration. Okay, because there's agents on the background that are doing the insurance coding, and there's agent receptionists, and everything's talking to each other 24/7 in the background. And it's a full-on dental office orchestration where everything flows, everything communicates. You could only do so much as one person. But when you have an AI that's 100 million pages of text, that's doing work 24/7, that has regulations, that have safeguards, right? So that's another thing we didn't talk about, that the AI has to be safe. It has to have these guardrails. It needs to be foolproof. It can't be giving wrong information.
Again, that is something that a previous podcast of mine, Dr. Mario Kern from Switzerland, went through. And there is an artificial intelligence dental organization around the world, and they are working with governments in Europe and the US and Australia to put those guardrails in place as well, from a legislative as well as a progressive basis, because this technology, as you said, is moving so fast. We do need those guardrails so that we can test and measure and get the information right and get the processes right. Because another terminology that you used just then was, it'll get there, was to accelerate things. Well, amplify things. If you've got something bad in your practice or in your processes, AI is certainly going to amplify. It's going to amplify everything.
Yeah.
And if it's bad, it'll amplify that as well.
Yep.
And then you're in real trouble.
Garbage in, garbage out, as our
well, over here in Australia, one of our big four banks, Australia has four of the biggest banks in the world. One of our big four banks offloaded 385 people on Monday because they went live with an AI product to replace them. By Wednesday, they had to go cap in hand back to those 385 people because it amplified bad systems, bad processes, and they had to get those people back. I have no idea what that cost them, but if I were one of the 385, it would have cost a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
it's tragic.
I think this has been terrific, Shervin. I would love to pen something in for February to get you back and
Awesome.
get an
And
update on how
that's
this is
when we're
going.
launching. That's when I could, actually reveal, the patient management system. We could do a screen share, do a demo, and see this whole orchestration.
Now, you say a demo. However, as part of my research, I went over to your website and there's an invitation there to ask Isaac anything. So
Yeah.
people can already get started.
Yeah. Yeah. People can go to trustdentistry.ai and they can start using the Isaac, which is ask it any question. Yeah.
I will put that at the bottom
Yeah.
of this podcast so
Yeah.
that people have access
And
to
they
those
should. And
links.
that's
Okay.
usually what people always wonder, like, what's the first step I should take? I don't know what to do. It's free. You go on and you start asking it any question. So that's the first step.
Sounds a great way to go. So we will make that happen and get people along to that as well. Thank you, Shervin. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we go?
No, this has been really a pleasure. You're very easy to chat with, and I think that was like some great moments and analyzations that we did together. And thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Next time, I'm going to put you on the grill and we're going to ask the really probing questions.
You got it.
However, just to leave people with one thing on their mind, what is going to be the valuation of Isaac when you start to put it into production? Don't say anything, Shervin. We will hold people on that note, okay? But
Yeah.
I'm thinking huge.
We'll see. Whatever, we're trying to create value. So whatever value we can create, that's the value.
Brilliant. Thank you, Shervin. We'll talk
All right.
soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, everyone.